Hello and welcome to my April TBR. Okay, April! Oh my gosh, can you believe we're through the first quarter of 2021 already and we are thinking about what we're gonna read for April? I'm so excited for warmer weather and for this month's reads. Let's start with my physical TBR first, and then we'll move on to Kindle picks. So physical TBR, the first one is No Exit by Taylor Adams. I have been seeing so many incredible thriller recommendations. It seems to be what booktube is really recommending to me right now, and so I've been feeling this call to just get into a good, fast-paced thriller. I'm hoping this one delivers. The synopsis for No Exit is that this young woman is traveling home from college because her mom is sick and possibly dying, and she gets stuck in a blizzard at a highway traffic stop with 4 strangers. She goes out into the parking lot to try to find some cell service to let probably her family know that she's going to be late, and she sees a young girl kidnapped in the back of a van. And then I guess she has to try to figure out what to do. It's said to be kind of a psychological thriller, which is really neat. And I just love this whole concept of what would you do in that situation? How would a young woman with a room full of strangers approach this? I'm gonna guess it's one of the strangers who has the girl in the back of the van. I don't know. Google Books says, with exquisitely controlled pacing, Taylor Adams diabolically ratchets up the tension with every page. Full of terrifying twists and hairpin turns, No Exit will have you on the edge of your seat and leave you breathless. Yes, please. We'll see. Will it deliver? Let's find out. The next book is a New York Times bestseller. It has 4.13 stars on GoodReads, and I'm really hoping that this one delivers. I've heard some beautiful reviews about it, that it is touching and moving. It is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. It's based in a world where you can get a call from an organization or something called Deathcast that basically tells you that it's your last day, and they call it their end day. And so these 2 boys find out that it's their end day. They're total strangers, but there's an app called Final Friends where you can find a final friend for your end day. And so they connect through that, and I think it's a love story. I think it's heartwarming. I think it's touching. Google Books says, Adam Silvera reminds us that there's no life without death and no love without loss in this devastating yet uplifting story about 2 people whose lives change over the course of one unforgettable day. I haven't read anything by Adam Silvera yet, so I'm really excited to check this one out. The next book I saw on my booktube friends Hugo's channel, The Scientist Reading World. Hugo said this book wrecked him emotionally. So that's high praise, and I'm really curious how it will impact me emotionally. And this is My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies by Fredrik Backman. I have not read anything by Fredrik Backman, and I've heard some incredible things about his books. He is a Swedish author. This was originally published in Swedish and translated into English by Henning Koch, if I'm saying that correctly. So this is a translated book. It also goes by the name My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. I tried to do a little research and couldn't quite figure out why the name was changed. I know sometimes that happens, but I preferred this title. So this is the version that I got. My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies. In this book, we are introduced to 7-year-old Elsa, and her best friend in the whole world was her 70-something-year-old grandmother, who has passed away and left a series of letters apologizing to people. And so we're supposed to, I guess, learn about the grandmother, learn life lessons. I'm not really sure. Hugo rated it 5 stars. GoodReads has it at 4.05, so I do have some high expectations for this book, and I'm really, really looking forward to reading it. The final physical TBR book that I have is A Darker Shade of Magic. I've been seeing reviews all over the place. I haven't read anything by V.E. Schwab. This one intrigues me because it is a series, and I absolutely love series if I like the book. So I hope that I like the book. In this book, there are parallel Londons, and we're introduced to Kell, who's one of the last magicians who can travel between these parallel worlds, these parallel versions of London. And I guess Kell is a smuggler, runs into some trouble, and there's lots of adventure along the way. I'm really intrigued by this one because of the concept of parallel universes. How is that going to play out? I also love the idea of adventure, and I'm always drawn to magic, and I've heard really incredible reviews about V.E. Schwab. It also has 4 stars on GoodReads, which means at least one of these books has to blow me away this month, right? Please, hopefully. Okay, let's move into the Kindle books. I really only use my Kindle when I'm traveling, but we haven't done a lot of traveling recently, and I had a couple of great deals on Kindle books that I want to read, so we're going to do it. Okay, the first Kindle that I want to read, I have no idea what to call it. Is it called The Offer? Is it called Succubus Harem? Is it called The Succubus Bargain? I don't know. It's a book by L.L. Frost. I think what's going on is that it was originally published as serial format, and so the first part of the serial was called The Offer. The full version, putting all the serials together, is called The Succubus Bargain. And then there's more to the world that's called The Succubus Harem. I think that's my best guess so far, but it just sounds like a fun read. It's about a succubus who comes to the mortal world who doesn't want to use her succubus powers. She is working at a bakery, and it somehow like feeds what she needs to feed off of people without harming them, until 2 other characters come into play who are not having any of that and are trying to get her to be full succubus. She sounds like a sweet and fun and interesting character, so I'm excited to kind of be in her mind and get to experience that. The author is L.L. Frost. I've never read anything by this person. It was independently published, which I like to read those books from time to time as well. I do have The Offer, which is the first in the serial, and then I have the one that is all of the serials together called Succubus Bargain. That's the one that I will actually be reading from, but I liked the cupcake cover, so I wanted to show you guys that one. So I'll read Succubus Bargain, which has 1 through 5 serials, I think. On GoodReads right now, I'm seeing that the Succubus Bargain does include 5 serial parts: the offer, the deal, the terms, the rules, the gain, plus a bonus chapter that wasn't published with the serial, so that should be interesting. I'm hoping that it's not like too racy. That's just not the type of book that it kind of makes me cringe and like skim past a little bit. But I loved the TV series Lost Girl, which is a Canadian show with a succubus and a lot of different fae. That was one of my favorite TV shows, so I was excited to see a succubus as a main character in a book. And then my final book is Thin Air by Lisa Gray. This is another thriller, and it's actually a thriller series. It's the first in the Jessica Shaw series. In this book, we meet Jessica Shaw, who is a private investigator. She gets tons of anonymous tips, and she happens to get a picture sent to her of a 3-year-old who was kidnapped 25 years ago. Well, she realizes that that 3-year-old is her. And so it leads to this investigation of figuring out why she was kidnapped, what happened to her birth parents. So she begins her investigation. This takes place in LA. She finds out that the night she was abducted, her mother was murdered, and she dives into this investigation. We meet another character named Detective Jason Price. They come together. He knows something about her father's past, and then we'll find out. This is the only one on GoodReads that had less than 4 stars. It's 3.87. Even though it's lower stars, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm called to it, I'm drawn to it, so worst that happens, we DNF it. I do have an audiobook on the bench for this month. Usually when I'm doing diamond painting, I will listen to audiobooks. I haven't been that into diamond painting since I finished my last full one. I think I just needed a break from it. So I'm not sure if I will listen to an audiobook this month or not, but if I do, it's going to be Steel Tie, which is the second in the Seafire series by Natalie C. Parker. The first book was such a fun read that I really want to listen and check out the second book in the series as well. Okay, that is my April TBR. I'm super excited. Hopefully one of these is a 5-star or more. Let's see. What are you planning to read in April? What book are you most excited about? I would love to hear in the comments below. And thank you for hanging out for another video. Like, subscribe. I really appreciate the support. You can find lots of details in the description box. And I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye, guys.